What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Ay, what you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean.
What's up, everybody? We're back with another live cast here on Bass 365. Tonight is a pretty good one and an exciting one for me because this guy's not only a hell of a fisherman, but he's a good friend as well. We're going to cut right to it and get this thing started. I hope you guys are going to have a bunch of questions for this guy, and it's going to be a fun one. Keith, what's up, brother?
What's up, Rick?
Oh, not much, man. Just kind of enjoying this off season. A lot of fast pitch softball with my daughter, and hanging out with the family.
Yeah, man. Everything's winding down. The season's coming to a close, and get a little off time. Enjoy some family time and stuff. I know some guys like to hunt. I'm not too much on hunting, but yeah, I got other things I like to do.
That's right. That's right. Well, man, the announcement came out. I saw it for the first time yesterday that you're fishing both tours, the Bassmaster Elites and the MLF Bass Pro Tour.
Yeah.
You know, I called you in the little description the Ironman of bass fishing because that's gonna take a lot, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say Ironman yet until I actually, get through it and have a successful season. I'm stoked. I'm excited. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. Hey, man, that's what we do. We fish for a living. So I don't think we fish enough. I mean, each tour is like, 7 to 9 events. I want to fish a whole lot more, double. I mean, what we are typically fishing. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I can't wait.
So I know we talked a little bit earlier about some strategy, and I feel like you do things differently than a lot of these guys do. You're going to be running 2 boats. Maybe talk about the 2 boats you're going to be running a little bit and which tour you're going to be using each boat for and why.
So yeah, I've been running the Strike series. It's a 20-foot gator tracks with a 250 Mercury. I've been using that on the Bass Pro Tour, the last 3 or 4 years, and it's a phenomenal boat. I mean, the boat is built for performance. It's fast. It runs in the mid 70s, upper 70s, depends on how you have it loaded. But it's aluminum, and the guys at Gator Tracks have really figured it out on how to make a boat really strong, really durable, and have the performance as a fiberglass. So I'm so excited to be working with those guys. I mean, it's an unbelievable boat. They offer a lifetime hull warranty on this boat. I mean, it's amazing what they do with these boats. So I've been fishing that at the Bass Pro Tour. That's the big boat scenario, and that's kind of what I just dove into with the company when I first started working with them. And I've just been doing that for the last few years. But also in the last few years, I've been dabbing in my little off the grid stuff with the small boat and fishing some of the opens. And so they have a GT series 1650. It's actually a little over 18 foot long. It's a small boat, but it's also a boat that can handle big water. I mean, it's built tough, just like the 20-foot Strike series. So the way they design these boats, the hull is 3/16 thick. They're so tough and they're so durable that I hit waves all the time in that little boat, and it does nothing to it. Like it's actually pretty comfortable. You have no issues. You may get a little splash, but that's about it. But so with that off the grid series going, and me be running the big boat, we kind of talked a little bit, and they're like, hey, we'd like for you to film some of these off the grid videos and fish some of the smaller events, the opens and stuff out of our GT series. So it just kind of fell into that. And last year or this year, I fished all the opens out of that GT series and all the Bass Pro Tour events out of the big boat. So it was a good fit. I mean, I like the little boat just because I get to do all the backwater stuff, off the grid stuff that I like to do, that I film in the videos. So I just had a lot of fun. I mean, it was just fun fishing both boats and doing what I like to do, being able to go out on a tournament and, man, just get back in there and fish the way I like to fish.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy watching the off the grid videos, some of the stuff that you do and put that boat through, and it's able to hold up. It says a lot for the product for sure. So once you commit to using the little boat for the Bassmaster Elites, that'll be the only boat you'll use that year, right?
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I've fished the opens out of this little boat, and so I feel like I qualified for the Elites out of the little boat. I fished 9 opens out of it, won the AOY, fished some shallow water fisheries, but also some big water fisheries. So I feel like the boat will sustain a major tour. Like, I can go to anywhere. Now, I may not be able to go out in the middle of Lake Erie or, go crazy with it. But I mean, I think St. Clair is probably the worst one that I would have to really worry about. We're launching in St. Clair. If it's windy, it may be kind of a deal, but there's a lot of creeks right around. And there again, I mean, I may not be able to do everything I want to do or what I'm capable of doing, but I think throughout the season, it's going to average out that I can make it work in some of those shallow water fisheries. Sabine River, Lady Lake, Lake Seminole, Santee Cooper. I mean, we got a lot of good fisheries that we're going to that are shallow water. That's not really, really big waters, but then it does get rough. But I always plan for that. I mean, that's just part of it. So yeah, I'm fishing the 20-foot strike series with Mercury 250 on the Bass Pro Tour, and I'll be fishing the Elite Series out of the GT 1650. It's 18-foot with a 90-horse Mercury. I don't know if I'm gonna get 90. It's rated for 115. I may go to 115. I haven't decided yet, but either have a 90 or 115 Mercury, and I'll be fishing that on the Elite Series. And also, I signed up for one division of the Opens.
Good God. So I think we think a lot alike on this, where if the more you fish, the better you get. I mean, it's no substitute for time on the water. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good fishermen out there. I mean, I think a lot of guys, they fish really well. I mean, they got it figured out. I mean, a lot of people can fish. So I think that with me personally, and I'm not speaking for anybody else, but I think when I started fishing the selects and cups way back, and they just brought us out to this lake, and they said, hey, go to this town, this hotel, and we're going to drive you out to the lake in the morning and you can start fishing. I did well with that. Like, I caught them. Like, I won some. And so I think looking back and seeing that, the no practice, the fishing off the fly, I feel like I'd do better like that. And I feel like a lot of other guys would do better as well, because practice, I feel like sometimes we get too attached to something. We want to run with something that in a fishery or in a lake that's ever changing. I mean, the fish are moving every day typically. I mean, a lot of times they're still doing the same thing within a few days, but weather, I mean, just conditions, I mean, and the fish are moving. So if we try to do what we did yesterday or a couple of days ago, a lot of times it's not working out. So if a guy would just trust his instincts and his gut and go fishing and not practice, I think he would be surprised on how well he would do, because we're all good fishermen. It's taking what's in front of us and applying what we think is necessary for that day. But we try to do what we did yesterday or a few days ago, and a lot of times that hurts us.
Right. Fishing history and stuff that can change quickly. The most intriguing thing, and we've had this conversation before, the most intriguing thing to me about the way you fish is finding those little subtleties and being willing to do the work to get back in there. I know there's some spots that I've looked at and said, man, it'd be nice to get back in there. But just to be honest, it's too lazy to do the work to get back in there. I think that's
Yeah.
a refreshing mindset, the way you handle that. And, I think it's cool. I know a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people get upset by it, but they have the same ability that you have to do the work. And I think
Yeah.
fishing in general, that's a big part of it, doing the work, whether it's, becoming a great offshore fisherman or a shallow water fisherman, whatever the case may be. Yeah. So what kind of got you started in this off the grid fishing?
Yeah, I just want to touch on a little bit about what you were talking about, the work, and people that really don't understand or realize what I have to do, and how many places that I go to that are dead ends. I mean, it's not like the first place I pick, I just look and I go into, I'm whacking them. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did, because I'd probably have a chance of winning every tournament that I go fish. So, but there's a lot of things that factor in this, and it's something that I've learned over the years. Going to your question, but just growing up and my style of what I like to do and how I like to fish. Growing up in Louisiana, I always found a little cut, a little backwater deal, and I've fought that for years. Of course, fishing out of a big boat and not having that accessibility to do that. So what that was just what I always gravitated to as my fishing career evolved. But I got to a point where I fell into it, and things just started growing from it, and I'm here today. But I've had to learn so much about that. It's like any other technique or any kind of presentation or any style of fishing that a guy would do. I had to learn what types of backwaters would hold water more than others. For instance, example, you go on Google Earth, on your Google Earth Pro on a laptop. You can go back in history on that program. And a telltale sign to me, what I see, and a place that gets me excited is if I go back 10 years and that place has had water, if it's held water during a drought, that's telling me that there's fish that's been living there that's survived over a drought. So it didn't dry out. If it dries out, if it goes down and there's no water, that's not something that I'm going to typically focus on. You need to focus on something that's going to withstand have a lot of water in it, and that has the everything it needs to grow a fish. So that's number one. But there's a couple other things as far as the boat, how I've learned over the years on what I can and can't do with a boat, how I can run a boat through a ditch or jump a log. The momentum of taking that with that Mercury, 90 horse Mercury, and pushing ricocheting my boat through a little something to allow me to get in there. I mean, seriously, it's
Right.
like so fine tuned. Like, you can mess up so quickly. Not really mess up, but you get stuck and you'd be in a bind. Like you get to a point where you can't go, you got to get out, push backward or whatever. But I've learned over the years little tips and techniques and there little tricks to get back in there in a safe manner, pretty much. Because this stuff is crazy. I jump beaver dams. I'm sawing logs. I'm jumping logs. There's a lot. I'm running through a lot of skinny water, and the bobs, low water pickup. I love that thing. You got to get a lower unit modified, but what it is it's a bracket that goes on the bottom of your transom, and it sucks up water, and it's a hose that goes and it's mounted into your lower unit. There's a few things you got to do to get that mounted, but man, that's a cool accessory that you can put on your boat to get that motor up higher up out of the water to run through shallow water without it running hot. You still have the water pressure. So it's just little things like that I do to allow me to run through these areas to get there without hitting anything.
Right, without having to use a jet or anything like that.
Right, because a jet and a tunnel hole and a jet motor is not legal in a BASS event, and pretty much all major tours.
Right, and you lose, even if you're fishing locally, you lose so much performance on the motor, by going to the jet. I think it makes a lot more sense to me. So I'm probably going to jump around a little bit because I got a lot of questions for you, and they're just I had them written down. Deal with that. the changes at MLF going to the, your biggest five. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I love MLF. I've always, I think it's a great organization. I love everybody there. They've done a lot of great things. And, I think that's MLF's identity, that every fish counts. And I mean, I personally enjoyed it. But on the other hand, I mean, it's all about what the fans want. And, there is a few anglers that, and I wouldn't say a few anglers, but I should say this generically. Like, it's almost like if a guy just gets on a school of fish, I mean, he can run away with it. I mean, it's really, I think it kind of tones things down a little bit. It makes it a little bit more where I don't know, man. I'm just really torn on it. I like both. They make the decisions. I'm just going to do what they tell me to do. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be fishing for 5. I mean, it's cool.
So, with that being said, it leads me to my next question. With the catch all you can catch format, that seems to me to play into the advantage of a guy that's really good with forward facing sonar. I know you use Garmin live scope. I assume you don't have that on the little boat most of the time, but you're prepared to add it if need be. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, is the forward facing sonar made that catch all you can catch venue better for a guy that can catch a bunch of fish?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can. But also, guys are using it in the 5 fish limit as well. So I think there's times that it shines and you guys can utilize it, and it's a technique that works. There's hands down, it works. But yeah, finding a school of fish and knowing how many's there, I mean, and watching your bait and all, I mean, yeah, it definitely helps the every fish count deal. But it also is going to help with the 5 fish. I mean, it's going to continue to shine on every other event as well. So I utilize it. I utilize it at times when I feel like I'm not finding anything that's shallow or there's just times I'm out there doing it. Smallmouth fisheries, it really helps well. So I'm not just, I'm not going out there just to do live scope. No.
Right. I guess but I could rephrase that question a little bit better and say, by going to the 5 biggest fish, does that kind of level the playing field a little bit?
Yeah, I get you what you're saying, and it's hard for me to answer that question because I know guys catch big fish using live scope. I know a couple anglers at Cayuga this past year, they fishing, using fishing edge of those grass line and stuff and pitching out to big fish and they could see swimming. So I think you can still utilize it, catching big fish. It may not be as a more of a faster pace because you're really looking for that bigger bite. I think you can kind of tell certain distances. I mean, how big the fish is. But I don't know if it may not be utilized as much to find that school, but I think it's still going to be utilized at some point to find those fish. But and you hope that you get that big bite within that school.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, for instance, dock fishing. It set up perfectly for me at Darbone earlier this year. I didn't get to practice. I'd come from an open. And down in Florida. So I went there and fished around. I had went and pre-practice. We had some bites on some docks and went around. But I could see those fish on those docks. And I'm going to tell you what, and it wasn't that, I ended up getting bit on these side of the docks, but it was the sunny side of the docks. I would fan in there and I'd see the fish on the sunny side of the dock. So that kind of dialed me into, I need to fish the sunny side of the docks because it was cold. And I mean, I would see a few on the other side, but man, I tell you, the bites I got, and when I could watch the fish go down to my General, Berkeley General, that they would only follow it on the sunny side. So, and I could see those fish going after, and I caught some decent sized fish. So I utilized it then, and it helped me kind of dial in where the majority of the fish were, in that event.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I could definitely see how that could help you a bunch there. All right, like I said, jumping around a bunch, but logistically, this looks like it could be a nightmare for you. Do you have somebody that's going to help transport your other boat? How are you going to work all that out?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna need some help with that. I've even thought about getting like a double stack trailer
There you go.
system, but I don't think I'm gonna have to utilize it as much as I think. Um, I think I can work around getting two boats hauled here, hauled there, and we can make it work. So I just didn't want to go to the extreme. Had to pull both boats everywhere I went, even when I didn't need it. So the few times it's going to play, we can make it work.
So, looking at the schedules, is there a Bass Pro Tour event that you're most excited about? Got you on that one.
Yeah, you got me on that one. Look, I have nothing to do with the schedule. I'm not. I don't know. They make it and I go fish. I'm not too. I'll be honest with you. I'm just not too excited about the schedule. It is what it is. I mean, I'm sure that there'll be some good events and bad events for me, but me personally, I'm just not. I'm not. It's there's some great fisheries, but I'm just when I think about it, it's just like boom. One just doesn't stand out to me.
So, how about on the elite side? Is there one that you're like chomping at the bits to get to?
Yeah, Sabine River. I had a third place there on the Elite Series a few years ago, and I didn't even go to my fish the first day because I didn't think I could get to them. But it's a Texas only deal, no Louisiana fishing, and yeah, I'll be fishing on my little boat. I'm gonna be getting back and stuff. I've been on Google Earth looking. I've been spending a lot of time looking. I'm gonna be fishing stuff that I've never fished before, and I can't wait to get there to look around and see what I can get into and see what has fish. So very excited about that one. And I shouldn't say shouldn't say I'm not excited about MLF6 schedule when I mention that. It's just that I'm more excited about doing this in my little boat. You know what I'm saying? I'm more excited about the opportunities, Lake Seminole, whether if I go way up the Flint River or not. That's an option I got.
I kind of look at it as, when you see the schedule, it's usually always one that pops out. I was like, man, I really like fishing there.
Yeah.
I think both schedules are really good. Let's talk a little Berkeley right now. Berkeley's got a lot of things happening, a lot of new products coming out. Is there one particular bait that you're most excited about, or are they just all looking good?
Yeah, that new slobber knocker. That thing is it's pretty cool. It's a vibrate jig, and it's got a lot of action, and it thumps really good. And man, it catches a lot of fish. I've been using it a lot here lately. And just really excited about that and continue to use it next year. I'm ready to use it next spring. And, we're going to catch some big ones on it. I can't wait. Cannot wait.
No doubt about that. Any new news you want to share with us? Anything new happening?
I don't know. I'm not really. Everything's done come and gone. I'm excited about fishing both tours. And like I said, I'm fishing one of the opens. So let me explain that. Let me tell you why I'm fishing the opens. And I'm trying to strategize here what I can do. So per rules with MLF, let's just start with MLF. So I'm sure it's public knowledge. Anybody go read the rules, but I can't miss a Bass Pro Tour event. I'm done. Like that, just the way the rules. I can't miss any day I'm qualified to fish. I can't miss it. So my focus is to fish Bass Pro Tour. With the Elite Series, I can miss an event, miss a day, whatever. But the stipulation is if I was to qualify points wise for the Classic, that eliminates me from the class. If I miss a day that I'm eligible to fish on the Elite Series and I qualify for Classic, their rules states that you're no longer eligible to fish the Classic. So that's fair. I mean, both leagues have their requirements, and that's fine. So what really helped me make that decision on fishing both tours was I'm guaranteed 2 years on Elites. I just qualified, so I may not have the season I would like. I may finish in the Classic cut. I don't know, but I will have to miss 2. So we'll see what happens. But I'm fishing the Opens because it gives me the shot at the Classic, the 2024 Classic. So I qualified for the Classic for next year through the Opens. So I signed up for one division that had no conflicts with the Bass Pro Tour or the Elite Series. It's at the first one's at Toledo Bend, the second one's at Eufaula in Oklahoma, and the third one's Lake of the Ozarks. So I'm pretty excited about all of them, really. I mean, they're all great fisheries, and I feel like they have backwater. There's things that I can get into. There's things I can fish my style and have that chance. So I'm just trying to work the system here. I'm trying, I have an opportunity for Major League Fishing to make heavy hitters, to make red crest, fishing Elite Series, and I'm also fishing Opens to get in the Bassmaster Classic. So I'm fishing just enough to keep going and keep my options open and keep my qualifications opportunities there.
All right, I got a little sidetracked there. A lot of comments coming in just saying congratulations and wishing you luck. So guys, Keith and I are going to keep talking for a couple minutes here. If you want to post a question up, we'll give it 5 minutes or so. Maybe we'll see if we can get Keith to answer some of the viewers' questions. How about how'd you start fishing? What's your first fishing memory?
So my first fishing memory, I was probably 5 or 6 or 4. I don't know. I was young. It was in Louisiana. We had some ponds behind my house, my daddy's house, and I caught my first bass. And I didn't want to let it go. I wanted to keep it, but it was small. So my daddy made me release him. So, but yeah, that was always special. I mean, I went fishing with my daddy and my Uncle Carol. When I was little, they always brought me fishing. And it was just fishing. It was never tournaments. It was never anything like that. I just love the sport. I just love fishing, not tournament fishing. So it just kind of was in me at a young age. I didn't care about brown fishing, crappie, catfish. I just love, man, this is something really weird here, and I'll just share this. I mean, I love bass fishing so much that I love the way they smell. I don't even know if that's probably pretty weird right now to say, but I just love the way they fought. I mean, it was just an experience that I started when I was young, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. But I just did it as a hobby. I played sports, different things. So it was never like, hey, I want to be a pro fisherman when I grow up. It wasn't till later on, and a few years in college, that I really got introduced to the tournament side of it. That really sparked my interest in being a tournament angler. And I tell you, when I do something, I don't halfway nothing. I went all in. And man, I tell you, I moved really fast. Like, things progressed really quickly for me. And I probably went a lot quicker than my abilities, if you will. So it's almost like a high school football player going straight to the NFL. I mean, I really didn't have the abilities and the knowledge to be able to compete with these guys, and I struggled for a few years because of that. But I gave it 110%, man, and I've so far I've come out above water level. So I'm just thankful, really thankful to be where I'm at.
Yeah. So. I think we've all got that first fish story, and it's unique in each individual. But I think that bass fishermen get a bad rap sometimes, as not being true athletes. And dude, you're a big dude. I mean, you work out, and it's. I think people don't understand how physical this sport is. Do you have a off-season ritual that you follow to stay in shape?
Man, look, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I think bass fishing is wimpy. I think it's the wimpiest thing. It's almost like playing golf, bro. Seriously, like I hear all these guys, this and that. Oh, I'm tired of being on the world for this and that, this long. I'm like, really? Really? Like seriously, like I mean, cause dude, I play ball. Like I worked out. I mean, I've run. Man, I can't tell you how many bleachers I've ran hill. I know what work is. Like, and I work. So when I decided I wanted to pursue fishing, I started a little business for Home Depot, and I was like independent contractor for them, and I did flooring. I put down hardwood flooring and tile and laminate. Like that's work, bro. That is work. Going out and fishing, man, that's it really, I mean, there's some physical ability you need to, but these young guys and these middle-aged guys, or guys my age, 40, 50, I mean, come on, man. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it because, dude, we having the time of our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, we having fun. We get to get out on the boat and go across that lake. And, I mean, man, it's all. But I will say this. I have not worked out in a couple of years, but I used to do some CrossFit and different things like that. But, man, I just built a house. I'm doing something always. My off the grid videos keeps me in shape. Like I'm hardcore, pushing the boat, sawing logs. That's how I've always been, man. I grew up working and I've worked ever since. And I've just go, man. And I don't know. I think that I don't think it's as hard as, I mean, it's definitely a sport and there's some physical, you got to, look at Clay Dyer. I don't want to hear nobody say nothing about nothing because if Clay Dyer can go out there and fish a tournament and practice and this and that, man, that dude, man, I love that dude. He's awesome. So, I think we get, I don't want to say it. I don't want to get,
No, go on.
I may upset somebody.
Go on and say it. Don't hold back.
Do what?
Don't hold back. Go on.
Well, I just think we get lazy and we don't understand. We forget where we come from. We forget the opportunities that we have. And it's like, and that's every walk of life. You know what I'm saying? That as Americans, as human beings, it's just nature, really. But we need to really sit down and think what we have in front of us, the blessings that we have, and be thankful that we have that and not complain and this and that. Because I'm telling you, there's a lot of people out there that ain't got that don't have that opportunity, that ain't got the abilities and the options that you have. And I get that, man. I cringe when I hear people talk or say, well, this and that, I was this and blah, blah, blah. Man, come on, bro. No. I don't even want to listen to it. Because, man, they have no room to say nothing. Because, dude, we are living a dream. We have everything we want. We got it made, bro. We have it made.
Well, you got some pretty loyal fans here. It's no doubt. We got a ton of questions that popped up on here, so let's see if we can get to a couple of them, and see what we can get answered here. All right, this one's from Eric Edwards. He wants to know what your favorite color pit boss is. Green pumpkin or black and blue, man. I keep it real simple. They're gonna eat one or the other, so. And this is a funny story, and I'll just kind of elaborate on this. So at the Red River with the one I won, I was throwing a green pumpkin 3-inch pit balls, flipping, lay downs and just down the bank. And you know what? I ran out of them. I ran out of green pumpkin pit bosses. And you know what I did? I picked up the black and blue, and I swear to you, I caught every fish I weighed on the black and blue the final day. Wow. So with that being said, I hear guys talk all the time about, well, it's got to have red glitter and not silver glitter. And what do you? I mean, I have my opinion about it. I'm gonna tell you what you throw. You throw the one that you got confidence in. That's right. That's the one you throw. I do think.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, certain lakes. I mean, there's some situations where down in Florida, I mean, I like throw some stuff with a little red, or Louisiana with some red, and then, I mean, there's certain areas that I may kind of dip into some glitter, this and that, but man, at the end of the day, I think I keep it pretty simple, and that goes back to some of the things I was talking about, practice and different things. We kind of forget. We kind of are going back to. We need to keep it simple. We need to keep things simple and just go fishing and fish what you like and what you're confident in, because a little bit of a glitter here and there, I don't think is going to keep you from that fish biting your bait.
All right, here goes another one. I'm going to put this one up there just so I can hold you to it. Jason Shopno, who is it? Let me see here. Oh, bear with me 1 second. All right, anyway, are you going to do a walkthrough of your smaller boat that you'll be using on the Elite Series next year?
Yeah, I believe I have one out. You just need to go to my YouTube channel. I think I have one out that has some stuff on my little GT series. But I will do another one once I get the new one that I'll be fishing in the Elite Series. I will have another one, updated one on the new boat. And I've changed a couple of things. I've made a few little minor adjustments on the layout. So, yeah, I definitely will have that up as soon as I get it and get it ready to start the tour.
And your sea deck in both your boats versus carpet?
Yes. I won't ever have carpet again in my boat.
All right. We kind of touched on this one already, but Jason Shockley wants to know, would you have left MLF for the Elites had they not went to the 5 fish limit next year?
No, I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know they. This is kind of funny. So we had a Zoom call like last Friday or something. I was fishing, or when was I at? I think it was during the 2 weeks ago, maybe. It was during Rayburn. So I was fishing Friday, that Friday. So I had my wife go on the Zoom call, the all angler Zoom call, and I didn't even know about it. Like she said that they announced that. I'm like, really? So I mean, my decisions has nothing to do with what MLF is doing with 5 fish, every fish. So I didn't even know about it. So that's how much I've been I've just been doing my thing, this and that. I let them make their decisions, and I just go fishing and do what they tell me to do.
Right. I think you said earlier it didn't matter to you whether it was 5 fish or catch all you can catch. You just like to go fishing.
Yeah.
Man, we all,
because everybody's doing the same thing. No matter what you're doing, whether I like it or not, man, that's the deal we got to do. Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's got to do the same thing. So, I was talking to somebody earlier today about fishing or this and that, about a cold front come through or this and that. I said, man, look, they didn't buy it because of cold. Well, everybody has to deal with the same thing. It is what it is. You figure it out. I mean, they had a cold front at Rayburn. I didn't catch him the first day. I didn't figure it out. I mean, it hurt me. But it is what it is. I went out there the next day and caught him. So, yeah, man, I don't get caught up in that. I just stay focused and do what I do.
So, it's a lot of, you're sharing a lot of valuable advice. I hope these viewers realize that. I mean, so how much of fishing do you feel is mental?
It's a lot more than you think, because I've noticed it over the years. I've watched other anglers, for one, and I've looked back on my history and what I've done, and I've seen it. It's tried and true, man. I mean, there's things that, if you're confident, you're feeling good about yourself and what's going on, you're going to make better decisions. And whether everybody's different, everybody's got something going on in their life, they're battling something, blah, 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 whatever. But everybody kind of hits a stride and they get confident. And it's all mental. It's all about decision making, because if you're not making good decisions, you're not going to catch them. The guys are too good. You cannot just go out there and wing it. You have got to be on your game mentally to be able to look at what's in front of you, see what the weather's doing, see what the fish, taking that information and processing it through your mind and putting that to action. And if you're not thinking clearly, if you're not in the right mindset, one little mistake, one little thing you miss will cost you the whole tournament or create opportunity for you to win it. I believe in that so much, 100%.
So we talk about it a lot. It seems like some people just have it. and you know, nobody can explain what the it is, but it's like almost like a natural ability to catch fish. I mean, I look at Jordan Lee. I feel like he's a natural fisherman.
Yeah.
Do you think that the it is a thing? Is it something to
I
it?
do. I wish I had it. I mean, I got to work for it. I mean, I'll hit a little stretch here and there every once in a while, but I'll be the first one to say I don't have it. I do the best I can do with, and hopefully I get better at it. Hopefully I'll grow into it. I
Right.
think anglers can grow into that. I think they kind of figure it out in times. You know, but yeah, I mean, your Jordan Lee, I mean, you know, Dustin Cannell, I mean, Wheeler, you know, people give Wheeler a hard time, but the dude's awesome. Dude's a great fisherman. He really is. I mean, he just figures it out. He understands it. I mean, the dude lives and breathes it. He's just a good fisherman. So, I'd like to be more like him, man. And I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever get there. I don't know, but I mean, I'm just doing the best I can. I feel like I'm almost there. I got the work ethic. I think that I put out the time, and eventually it's gonna happen.
I totally agree with you there, but I do think I think some people it naturally comes easier to.
Yeah.
You know, I see that with my boys. It looks like, you know, one of them it comes easier to than the other. So I think that it is real. I'd like to figure out what it is one day. So maybe we can work on that this season.
I think it's not thinking about it much. I think it's just being nonchalant, just, you know, to an extent. I mean, you want to, you can't stress over why you ain't catching them or this and that. I think you just got to do your thing and be calm and be cool and be confident.
Right.
I think that's a lot of it. I told my wife the other day, I said, I don't know if I've ever been, and this has been months ago before I even won. I said, I don't think I've ever been so confident in myself as I am right now. I mean, seriously. I mean, I just feel like I can go out there and find them. And I may not catch another fish for the next 2 years, but as of right now, I feel that way.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I think, do you agree that like when it's your time to win, you have a hard time messing it up, but you can't force
it? Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Dude, for instance, so, I mean, people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this, but I didn't win at Red River. I didn't win that tournament all in that little backwater deal. The day one and day two, I caught a big fish. My biggest fish on day one come in the river, and my biggest fish on day two come in the river. I made a decision. I got out of there. Like, I feel like, I had 10, 11 pounds. I'm like, you know, I thought I was just, hey, I didn't want to catch everything because it wasn't a big place. But I go out there and I catch a 3.5 pounder the first day and the second day in the river. And if I don't catch those two fish, I don't win the tournament, man. I don't win the tournament. So, but I made a decision, and I went out there and I figured it out in the river, fishing behind people. And I just slowed down. I put my Berkeley green pumpkin 3-inch pit balls on, and I went to work. And I did my thing.
All right, I got to stop asking so many questions because we're getting behind on these things. Jeff Young wants to know favorite trailer for the new slobber knocker. Yeah,
I like the deal. Like I really think, and I even put a pit boss on the back of the slobber knocker. It's got a lot of action, but I like fishing, putting the Berkeley deal, the power bait deal on the back. I mean, that thing, the way it comes through the water, it's real. It's got a lot of action, and it creates a lot of bites for me.
All right, hold on 1 second here. I got us in a mess here.
What you got? What you want?
Man, it's just so many people talking about your style of fishing and how, you know, how they like the way you get it done. You know, lots of respect. Hang on.
Well, you know, let me just say this. And, I'm not the most polished guy. I'm not, this or that. And, man, I don't get up here and talk this and say this, that, and I'm not going to sit there and lie to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling, that's just coming from the heart. It's coming. This is Keith Poche talking. I'm not going to tell you a bunch of lines, a bunch of stuff that don't mean nothing just to try to look good. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. It is what it is. And I'm just who I am. And that's what I do. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm doing straight up.
You've always shot me straight every time I've ever asked anything, so I can't argue that. How about this is a good one. What pro fisherman inspired you the most?
You know, I've got a couple, but you know, of course, I didn't know much about a lot of the anglers before I made it on tour. But I would have to say, you know, I keep going back to him, and it's been a while, but I kind of miss him. I ain't seen him forever. Zell Rowland, you know, one of the first guys I kind of you know got close to, talked to a lot when I first started was Zell Rowland, and he was just a good old guy, jolly guy, and you know had a lot of success early on. And but yeah, I mean, he's just an old guy, old timer guy that fished years ago that I had a lot of respect for, and I kind of, you know, watched him and seen, you know, some of the things he were doing. And I wish he was still fishing the tour, but you know, maybe one day he'll come back. But yeah, that's probably him, or I don't know. There's a couple others, but I would have to say Zell number one.
Yeah, Zell I was always a Zell fan because of his use of that pop art. It's probably my favorite ever made, you know, and he's so daggone good with it. I don't know if you want to talk about this next one or not. Hang on, let me find this one. Where is it at here? But can you elaborate a little more on the rocks in your fishing spot? If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
No, it's not a problem at all. You know, yeah, I hate it, man. I don't really know what to think. I'm still kind of shocked it even happened, but there's no question, 100% it happened. I mean, the water level did not change. I mean, it was at that same level for a week. But so there was a little cut in the rocks I was going through, right? So they put rocks over that just underneath the water surface, so I couldn't see. Actually, it's probably pretty dangerous how they did it. But luckily, I just idled through there, and boom, I hit. I was like, man, I just already knew. Like I had a fit. I just knew that's what happened. And sure enough, I mean, you see all the rocks turned over. They had a moss line on the rocks, and you can see they were turned sideways. And but once I got through that, and just to be clear, and we'll go over this. There was 3 boats that followed me that morning. I don't know who they were, but they seen what was going on. I was on the phone with Hank and telling him what's going on, and they got wind, you know, them guys out there listening. And next thing I know, they jumping out and they moving rocks. I didn't ask them. I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. I was so thankful. I even called Hank back. I was like, look, verified with my marshal guy, my ride-along guy. I was like, man, I didn't ask these guys nothing. I didn't tell them nothing. They just overheard the conversation. They seen what was going on, and they just did it upon themselves. And he said, no, you're fine. You didn't ask for no assistance. So I got through that. And then, I don't know, you might have seen the video. That's when there was a little opening in water on the side of the rocks. And then there was the ditch started. So I had to run in that ditch, and it kind of made a 90-degree turn. Well, I didn't walk through that like in practice. Like there was no rocks in front of that little ditch. I mean, it's all sand. I mean, there wasn't even a pebble there. Well, there was rocks in front of that ditch too. So, but there wasn't enough. You could just see them like in the water, like right underneath the water. They were kind of on the edge. I think, let me tell you how sorry and lazy a crook is, or a piece of junk, some sucker that would go do that. They put rocks in front of the one on the jetty because it's a rock jetty. They did that one, but it was easy for them because the rocks were right there. They just sloughed them in the hole. You know what I'm saying? But they were so lazy, and that's why they don't catch no fish, because they lazy. They were too lazy to get those rocks off that jetty and bring them, 20 or 30 foot over to that other ditch. All they were tough enough to do was just go put a couple over there. But they were that sorry and that lazy. And if they really wanted to mess me up, they could have put all the rocks in that other ditch. That would have did real damage. But that's how sorry people are, how lazy they are. They take the easy way out. But anyway, yeah, man, I was able to still get up and run in that ditch and push pole my way in there like I've been doing. So, man, it's just, dude, I cried like a baby that morning. I cried my eyes out on the phone with Hank Weldon because I was upset and I couldn't believe that someone would take the time and go out of their way to do that. I mean, it hurt me. It hurt. I mean, it hurt. I just could not believe it. I'm like, dang, man, did I do something what did I do? I'm just doing what I do. Like, why would someone be so mad at me to come and do that?
The whole thing with the, putting the rocks right there where they were easy, but not even putting them back where it would have been more of a problem. Man, I watched you push in that thing. Everybody going to do that. I mean, I'm not going to do it. I'll tell you that right now. But I'm not going to throw rocks across your hole either, Yeah.
Hey, man, I had shorts on. You see them calves? You see them calves on me? That's from push pole.
Well, that's enough of that. I did want to bring it up because I try to always see the positive stuff to all of it. Yeah. I mean, hey, the fact is you won. So, this is a good question that I never really thought about. How do you handle takeoffs behind a bunch of bigger boats?
I just get out the way. I just get out the way. I ain't no hurry. I ain't worried about it because, a lot of times I'll just kind of get over and kind of just do my own thing because I know typically they're not going where I'm going anyway. So I ain't in no big hurry. I'm running 40 miles an hour. They can run 70 all they want. They don't bother me a bit. But I mean, as long as you're going with the wave, if I'm running with the wave, the waves this way, I can kind of just slide over the wave and it just kind of rocks. But if I go like against the wave, that's when I get the splash. You see what I'm saying? So if boats are taking off like this, I'm just kind of rocking, going over the waves, and it doesn't really affect me too much.
All right, that makes sense. You just got to get out of the way.
Get out the way. Well, if I go through a lock, if I'm the first one at the lock, I just sit back and I let everybody go in front of me, and I just hang out in the back because ain't no sense of me coming out of that lock first because everybody gonna pass me. They're gonna be weights going everywhere. I just let them do what they do, and I just kind of mosey on behind them.
All right, here goes another good one. Jared Hickox. Let's see. How do you break down a river that you've never fished before?
Man, you just got to hit high percentage stuff, current breaks, find little feeder creeks or isolated structure, visual stuff that you can see. And that kind of tells a tale. It depends on the time of the year. Certain things I focus on if I go in a creek or not, or a bay, pocket off a creek. So, but it's current breaks is a big deal on a river. So understanding some of the current breaks, some of the slack water, a lot of fish going to live there year round. So especially in the summer. But it depends on if it has a dam, if it leads up to a dam, or and just a lot of variables. But it's a lot of trial and error. But one of my things is, especially a river system, current breaks. I caught one of my big fish on the river the first day. The first big fish I caught, it was on a current break. Because they started locking. When they started locking boats back up, I felt like that little movement set a fish up on a little current break, and I was able to catch it. So it's just little things like that, little subtle places, some underwater stomps or different things like that you can just see, or a little ditch like that leads back into a place that kind of sitting on, especially water drops. Those fish come out of those flats and they kind of get to those ditches, so there's little deeper water around the edge. So there's a lot of things, man. We can spend an hour on a river, you know what I'm saying? But kind of the rule of thumb, number one thing is kind of find your current breaks and fish those, and just kind of go from there.
And how about as far as before you get there? I mean, I know for your backwater stuff you use Google Earth a lot. Is that probably some good advice for a body of water somebody's never been to before, even if it's not backwater?
Yeah. I mean, as far as the off the grid stuff, I mean, it's all Google Earth and trial and error. I mean, there's a lot of places I go in, it's a dead end. It ain't no water. It's so bad. There's just so many trees. I mean, it take a month to clean out. So Yeah, man, it's just fine. I'm spending a little time there and a couple of days just to ride around and look.
All right, here's one from Ty. We got a couple from Tyler Calloway. What's the one thing you're most looking forward to back at the Elite Series? Dave Mercer. Got to be Dave Mercer.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about that. Nah, not like Dave. Good dude, funny guy. You know, I just I look forward to going back to the Classic. And that's not really. I mean, I made it through the Opens. I mean, but it's good to go back and get on that Bassmaster stage and hold my fish up and talk to the crowd. Tell them about my day. Tell them how I caught my fish and because a lot of people watch that and people want to see that and I look forward to that. You get back to where I started and see where it goes.
100%, it's something to be said for weighing those fish in.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I think the catch, weigh, and release is probably best for the resource. Just my 2 cents.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. I totally agree. Mm-hmm.
But with what I do, I work both of both, and it's something to be said for those crowds walking across the stage and holding those fish up. Photographs.
Man, ain't nothing like holding a big old fish up, man. Pulling a big old fish out of the bag, hearing the people. I mean, that's just you can't replace that. You can't. I don't know, man. It's just something about it.
Arms now thinking about it.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. I'll never forget the time I was leading the Bassmaster Classic in 2012. The one I didn't win, one I could have won, didn't win. Oh, I let one get away. But man. Just, I pulled that big fish out of that live well, the crowd I was like, damn. I mean, it was like, it's crazy, bro.
It just
crazy.
It just got real when that happened, right?
It got real, bro. Real quick. So.
All right. We got one more question, and I'm gonna try to start shutting this thing down a little bit, but I've got one for you. Do you have a specific stage memory that sticks out more than anything? Big stage, big stage.
Oh, like far as any stage, like
weighing in a fish. Is there a moment that that kind of sticks out to you? Like, God, that was like really the coolest thing I've ever done fishing.
Yeah, man, I tell you, probably I'll say the James River.
Oh Lord,
man, I caught 24 pounds in a John boat, okay? And I get to the stage, I get to weigh and I hold them big old fish up, and I'm like, and I'm leading this thing, like, and I'm just like, holy crap! And I found those big old fish in that. I was just like, man, this is unbelievable. Like, this is, I don't even know, man. It was sweet. It was awesome. I didn't win that tournament, but man, that day I had an awesome day, dude. I caught so many big ones. Oh my God, that was fun.
I live 20 minutes from there and got a little boat like yours and ain't been there. That's sad, isn't it?
Don't go there. Don't. I caught every one of them. Don't go back. Yeah.
All right. Let's see if we can get this last question. I got to go back and try to find it. Chris Willoughby again. What's your strategy on a tidal river?
Yeah, that's a little tricky one as far as the way the tide comes in, because the fish just don't bite certain times. But yeah, on the last hour or two going out, and then then the first coming in really sets those fish up. And of course, just like in a cut or some laydowns and stuff, because when it gets high, a lot of times they go back and stuff. They kind of scatter, and you just can't get them. But the typical tidal stuff, there's flats everywhere, and the fish just don't bite. Then on absolute low when it's slack, I mean, fish need moving water creates gets them going. So yeah, so that window there is a real key point to focus on. But you want to find stuff that's coming out like some fresh water, clean water. Because a lot of times these tidal fisheries, that brackish water or just the river, the main river moving back and forth. I mean, there's fish out there, but anytime when you got a way back in a creek or a cut or a little drain that's coming out, a lot of times that water's filtering through some grass or marsh, and that water's clean coming out. So when that tide is pulling out, or right there, what's cut right before it goes in and stuff, that water's so clean, and them fish set up next to that clean water, and they can, they live right there, and they want to. That's how they eat. They feed on some of that bait in that clear water. So that's kind of what I key on. And of course, you can use some of your natural colors and baits and stuff that work well in that situation. But I try to find those little key little points, intersections where that clean water is mixing, and the setups like that.
All right, I know I told you we'd be on here an hour. We got 2 or 3 more questions. You wanna handle them? Have you got time to handle them?
Yeah. We went this long. Let's do 2 more.
All right, here you go. Do you even carry a spinning rod in your boat, in your small boat?
I do. I got one. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I probably even if I'm on the Bass Pro Tour Opens, I grab all my rods. There's like 7 or 8 of them, and I take it out of one boat and I put them in another boat. That's all I bring every tournament. The big tournaments, Bass Pro Tour Opens, all of them, 7 or 8 rods. That's all I got.
Wow. So some of these guys that carry 40 or 50, you think maybe
dude, I wouldn't know what to, man, they'd be hung up. Man, I wouldn't even know which one to grab. There is no way. I have never, my whole career, I have never had over probably 18 rods in my box at one time.
All right. So if you had to tell a guy to go out real quick and you could only buy 2 combos, what would they be?
Get your Fenwick 7.3 medium heavy with a Xenon 8-to-1, Xenon X 8-to-1 gear ratio reel, Abu Garcia reel. I've been fishing with those a lot. That setup right there, them new Xenons are really smooth. They're awesome. I love them. And that 7.3 medium heavy is just a perfect rod to fish any kind of bait, spinner bait, little crank bait, light flipping, pitching around, throwing a worm or whatever. I mean, it's just, you can just do whatever you want with that setup. So yeah, the Abu Garcia Xenon X 8-to-1 with a Fenwick 7.3 medium heavy would be a good setup for all around fisherman, fun fishing, tournament guy. I mean, it's not super expensive. It's just a good combination.
All right, man. So we'll get to this last question here, and let me see here. I gotta find it again. We kind of answered a little bit of this already, but fish out of a 175 tracker, space is limited. How do you store enough gear?
Man, if you ask somebody that knows me, I bring enough. All the tackle I can bring 2 hands every time I go fishing, or especially in the little boat. Dude, I typically got a couple bags. I just got a couple bags in there. The main thing, I got a hard bait box. I got a weight box and a hook box. And then, some slobber knockers and a few spinner baits and some, generals and some pit bosses. And that's it. Seriously, I can bring everything in 2 hands.
So, guys, I'll confirm that next time I see Keith and just make sure he's telling us the truth about it.
I swear to God. Look, I'm telling you the truth, man. Look, but now in practice, I got a few more things in there because I'm trying different stuff. But I kind of whittled it down in the tournament, and that's all I got.
Right.
So, but no, man, I keep it simple. And I think, here's the deal. Here's what you do. I'm going to tell you what you do. I've just thought of this, and this is what I do. I just forgot about it. So I got my hard bait box, all right? I got a lot of baits in my truck. So I get like one of everything. So if I want to use it, I got it. But I don't need 10 of them. Why do I need 10 of them? Why do I need 10 jaywalkers? Why do I need 10 square bull? Yeah, I just need one of my favorite colors. So I got it if I need it. And if I'm catching them, then I go to my truck, then I get a couple. You know what I'm saying? When I want for the next day. So bring one of everything, but just one. You don't have to bring the whole Bass Pro. You know what I'm saying? just kind of condense it down. I mean, you can only fish with one at a time. Now you might break off, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But come on, man. I mean, you don't need, bring 2, but just don't bring a whole bunch.
Yeah, I mean, I see some of these boxers. It's got 15 of the same color.
Dude, you won't find a box in my boat that has one type of bait. I got all kinds of baits in one, because I don't need a crankbait box, a jerk bait box, and a top water box. No, I just get one of them deep boxes, and I fill one with a couple of baits I like of that style, then another with a couple of different baits of that style, and that's it. I just put different types all in there.
Sounds like a simple plan to me.
Man, it's not hard. It's really not hard.
You've had a lot of success. It's worked very well. All right, look, I could keep doing this all night. I'm gonna knock you off the screen, shut this thing down, and Keith, I appreciate it. We'll have to do it again soon. It was good. A lot of good information. The fans seem to like it, and you got a lot of fans out there that think a whole lot of you. So
yeah, I appreciate it, man. I tell you, y'all just need to go to my Facebook, Instagram, give me a follow, YouTube. If you don't like me, don't go, delete me, whatever you want to do. I'm as real as it gets, Bubba. Come on and let's have fun. I hope y'all enjoy it. Come enjoy the ride with me next year.
That's right.
We're gonna give them hell. We're gonna fish our ass off, and we're gonna figure it out. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even have it figured out. I talk a big game right now, but I don't even have it figured out. I know I'm gonna have to miss 1 or 2, but we're just gonna figure it out as we go.
That's all you can do at this point. I mean, you're in too deep.
That's it.
Back up.
That's it. We in. We in like Flynn, man.
Well, look, we'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it all, and good luck, bro. Let me know when you get it if you need anything.
Yes, sir.
All right,
sounds
brother.
good.
All right, guys, that's it. I knew it was going to be a good one, and it sure was. Thanks to Keith. Thanks to everybody that joined in. It was pretty awesome. A little housekeeping. Follow us on Bass 365 on social media. Just started a Twitter account yesterday, Bass 365. Download the app, the Bass 365 Live app. You can watch all this stuff, right from your phone with a click of a button. It's Bass 365. It's in the app stores, and it's free. We got a ton of stuff coming, so stay tuned. I'm excited about 2023. I think it's going to be a great year. And again, thanks to everybody that watched, and thanks for all the questions.